Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and despite the sheer volume of effects pedals that are being released into the market each week, it's still relatively rare to encounter a well-designed and great sounding analog delay pedal. One that leverages those classic bucket brigade chips to give you that smooth, silky repeat that degrades gradually with every new repeat. It's a technology that has its roots in some of my favorite delay sounds that go back to the 70s and 80s, and it's one that has its own quirks and nuances that can present some engineering and design challenges to builders. Analog delay has always been a really important part of my signature sound, and so I'm excited to be checking out this new Echo Sphere analog delay from Surreal Audio. We're going to talk a little bit about Surreal Audio, go over the controls and the feature set in the Echo Sphere here, and then get to hear it as we turn some knobs and explore some of the different features to hear all that it's capable of. But first, let's hear it in the context of a mix on a small pedal board here. Let's check it out. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. And if you're a fan of guitar pedals or guitar gear, or just finding new sounds and crafting tones, please hit subscribe below so you can keep up to date on future videos. Also, hit the description below for more information on Surreal Audio, a whole list of gear that I used for this video, and some affiliate links that help support the channel if you decide to use them. So I always love getting to know the genesis stories for builders and brands in this industry, and the storyline that Steven writes on the Surreal Audio website is actually fairly relatable to kind of how I got into pedals in the first place. It begins with a curiosity to tweak and mod some old Boss pedals that slowly and steadily grows into this hobby informed by hours and hours on forums and other websites, learning about the ins and outs of circuitry and poring over schematics and things like that. For Steven, it led him to an engineering degree that I'm sure has informed his design and development of this pedal and his others. And now today we have this Echo Sphere analog delay pedal that, in my opinion, is a pretty impressive offering from a one-man shop out in Sacramento, California. You don't see this type of delay pedal on the market very often at all. I mean, I can count on one hand the number of pedals that have delivered the sounds and the features that this one does. And so it's a pretty impressive offering, one that no doubt has taken a lot of head scratching and hours of refinement and development, but to pack all the features and the usability into this pedal like he's done is pretty impressive. So we're going to get into the features and control set here and talk through the different levels of complexity that you get with the Echo Sphere, and then start to hear some of the sounds from this delay pedal. So right off the bat, you have 4 MN3005 bucket brigade chips that allow for up to 1.3 seconds of delay time in the Echo Sphere, which in itself is a rarity among analog delays. You have controls up top here for mix and repeat. You've got a big knob here for your delay time that can also be set with a tap tempo on the right here. You have a subdivisions control with a bunch of different options for subdividing your tap tempo. You have a tone control for the brightness or darkness of your delay repeats, and you also have 3 unique modes that you can run that tone control in that we'll showcase later on in the video. And what I'll say about it now is that I think Surreal Audio has done a really great job on the filtering side of this pedal, which comes into play as we utilize that that tone control. One of the really big challenges of analog delays is encountering the noise and the aliasing that can kind of happen with those bucket brigade chips, and using that filtering scheme to eliminate as much of that unwanted noise and artifacts and aliasing as you can without totally darkening or rounding off those delay repeats to the extreme. And so as we dive into that tone control later on, we'll see the 3 different modes that you can run it in to allow for a really blank slate, kind of unadulterated analog sound that retains some of that gritty lo-fi aliasing and artifacts, or gives a much more adapted and refined way to shape the tone and EQ of those repeats. Below the tone control is the LFO section of this pedal, where you have 3 knobs to control the rate, depth, and shape of that LFO to introduce some modulation to your analog delay sound. You can also go a step deeper and point that LFO at any number of the controls on the face of the pedal here to create some entirely different effects and just some kind of wild and experimental moments. So we'll spend some time with that section down the road here in the video as well. You also have presets on board this pedal that can be navigated via these 2 left foot switches. And you also have this single screen here that, while simple, is a really nice way to give visual feedback as you're turning a couple of these knobs that can sometimes be questionable as to which mode you're in. That screen will indicate which mode you're in terms of subdivisions and in terms of some of the other controls here that have a lot of different options around the knob turn. So that's a great addition here. Without going full-blown menu diving, you still have that visual feedback. You also have an effects send and return up here if you want to throw some fun effects into the loop of the pedal, and an input for your expression pedal here too. So we're going to dive in to just show you some of the foundational analog delay sounds, and then come back and we'll talk about a couple of the other sections of this pedal and give sounds of those as well. Throughout this video, I'm going to be playing my Eric Johnson Stratocaster. We're going to go into a Brown amplification Carbon X for a little bit of texture, then on to the Surreal Audio Echo Sphere for our delay, moving on to a Strymon Cloudburst for a little bit of reverb, and then the Walrus Audio ACS Mark I. Let's check out some of those foundational analog delay sounds. So like I mentioned, this LFO section is a really powerful way to manipulate the sound of this analog delay pedal and gives you some really fun and weird and wild sounds. By pressing this little button labeled Alt, you go into the alternate menu mode and are able to select with this green knob where you point the LFO. So you can point it at any control such as mix, repeats, delay time, delay tone, and you can select that on this green knob, and then by exiting the alt mode, you have your 3 controls back to adjust the rate, depth, and shape of that LFO. You can produce tremolo type sounds by pointing the LFO at your mix control. You can do some fun effects by pointing it at the tone control and giving you these kind of filter sweep type effects as the delay repeats happen. You can also turn it over here all the way to the right to the chaos mode, and it will manipulate a number of different controls on the fly with that LFO for some really kind of wild and out there sounds. So we're going to spend just a little time turning some knobs and pointing that LFO at different controls to see how it interacts and see what kind of fun sounds and effects we can make. Let's check it out. The last thing I want to touch on is this tone control and the 3 unique modes that you can run it in, because I think it's a really cool way to transform the feel and the character of this pedal, but still give you the option of really dialing in the tonality and the EQ of your delay repeats. To access those 3 filter modes, you again simply press the Alt control to go to that menu scheme, and that divides this tone control into 3 different segments, where fully counterclockwise will eliminate that adaptive filter mode and just give you this unadulterated tone control. This is where you'll see and hear the artifacts and the aliasing of the analog delays you might expect from maybe a poorly designed analog delay or one that hasn't really been filtered properly. This can be cool if you're wanting those lo-fi, gritty, aliased sounds and textures. So if you want those, you can leave it in that mode all the way counterclockwise. In the center position, you have the adaptive filter mode, and that's the default mode the pedal ships in. In this mode, the filter will adjust in different ways depending on the delay time. At shorter delay times, you don't have to worry as much about that aliasing or the weird artifacts, and so it can allow for brighter delay repeats to come through. But then as you go to longer delay times, the adaptive filter, it just helps to produce those really nicely refined and smoothed out delay repeats even at those longer delay times. Then finally, fully clockwise gives you this interesting hi-fi kind kind of mode that turns this tone control into a high pass filter. Whereas you dial it to the right, you're just shaving off that low end and producing this thinner, more crisp digital sounding repeat as you dial it up. And so that's its own unique kind of setting and mode. If you're wanting to produce more of a lo-fi digital type sound out of this pedal, you can do that in that mode turned all the way to the right there. And so you just have a few different options depending on the character of analog delay you want. And the cool part is you get to choose. So we're going to hear each of those 3 filter modes and just hear the contrast of the texture and the tonality of those repeats in each of them. Let's check it out. So that's the Surreal Audio Echo Sphere. It's an impressive offering from a one-man shop out in California. It's a really well-designed and thought-out pedal that has some of the best analog delay sounds that I've heard in any pedal. So I think it's worth your time to check out if you're a delay fan, if you're an analog delay purist and want something that has a little bit more to offer than what's on the surface. This is a really fun, a really musical, and a really beautiful offering from Surreal Audio. So thanks for watching. Please drop any questions or comments you've got below in the comments and I'll get back to you there, and we'll see you on the next one.